Hi everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. I apologise if the lighting's a bit weird and that, because my battery charger for my camera isn't working for some reason and all my batteries are dead, so I'm filming this on my phone. So I've had to create a weird setup by attaching this phone holder to my camera mount on the wall, and it just looks, yeah, it's a bit of a weird setup. So I hope this will go okay, and I hope the lighting's not too bad. I've done what I can to make it as bright, but yeah, you can see shadows from the mount, but anyway, hopefully it'll be okay. So I'm going to be doing a real-time tutorial for drawing a polar bear, and it's going to have some ice in the background. It's basically, I've got a printout here like this, except I'm not doing this bit here, this will just be the paper. Yeah, and it's on a really small scale for pastels because I'm using pastel pencils, and it's a really small scale, so it's going to be quite difficult, but yeah, I'm going to give this a go. So basically I'm using pastel matte paper in the colour light blue. I'll link that in the description below. Oh, it's gone out of focus. And then I've cut out, this is an 8x8 piece of paper, so I've just cut that down, and then I've stuck the paper down with some Scotch tape. It's called Scotch Magic tape. I'll also put that in the description below for you so that you can get that. And I find this is the only tape I found that doesn't rip the paper when I peel it off at the end, so it creates really nice crisp lines, so I always go for that. Right, oh yeah, and I'll also link the reference photo in the description below as well, so that you can follow along if you want to. I'll be using mostly the Faber-Castell pastel pencils for this. Just for tutorials like this, I don't want to use too many materials because you might obviously not have them. So I'm just sticking with the one brand pretty much for this whole tutorial if I can. So yeah, let's get on with it. So I'm going to start with, in this part of the video, so this video will be split into separate parts, I'm going to start by doing this section here, which is just the ice in the background. So there's some like deep blues and then it fades to white, so I'm just going to create like a base layer in the background. So I'm going to pick a blue that kind of matches the blue in the picture. So that's not quite right. Can also layer, that's a bit more similar. Can layer up pastels really easily, so layer the colours on top of each other, which is amazing. That's one reason I also really like pastel pencils, you could just layer so easily. So yeah, I'm going to start with this one here, which is 153. Oh, this camera is going to keep focusing and unfocusing, so I really do apologise, but for now it's the best I can do because I need to order a battery charger. So where the deepest bits of blue are, I'm just going to scribble in you don't need to be very precise at all when using pastels. You can go over any mistakes relatively easily. Yeah, I've just gone and got some of this glassine paper, which I can rest my hand on to stop any smudging or from ruining the paper. I'll also link that in the description below as well. I get it from Jackson's Art and it's really handy. Okay, where else is there dark sections? So down here, focusing again, there we go. The other parts of this video I might be able to use my camera for, but just at least this first part I'm having to compromise and do it on my phone. Okay, that's got the darkest bits there. This bit here that's right in front of the polar bear, I'm not sure whether to do that now or after the polar bear. I might just do it now anyway. So just all of the ice in the background and the foreground, this bit here, just so that's all done at once. And then I can focus on the polar bear after that. And down the bottom here, there's some darker. Okay, that's most of the dark bits that are a bit darker. Maybe here a bit. I'm just going to scribble down more colour and then I'll blend it all together with a blending stump. I'm going to move the lighting so it's like in a better place, but it's not as good as it's going to get. Okay, I think I am going to actually use a couple of Caran d'Ache pastel pencils for this bit, so I will link these ones in the description below. You could use the Faber-Castell ones, there's nothing, you can probably layer to get the colour you want, but I'm just going to use these because I think it'd be a little bit easier. So these are the colours. Focus, there we go, and I will link them in the description below as well. Okay, so I'm gonna some of this. These Caran d'Ache ones, they blend really well. They're really good for blending, especially for like backgrounds because they're really soft pastel pencils, so they're really lovely for that. Which is mostly what I use them for. They're not very good for small details because they're really thick pencils and they're hard to sharpen. And I'm not too bothered if the colours aren't exactly right, because you don't have to always stick exactly to the reference photo, unless of course you're doing a commission for someone of someone's pet, in which case the colours do have to be right. But when you're working on a personal piece for yourself or something like that, then it doesn't matter too much if the colours aren't exact. Obviously you want to try and get it as close as you possibly can, but if it's not right, exactly right, then it's not the end of the world. As long as the end result, these bits look like ice, then I don't mind. Got my COVID jab later, my booster, and I'm just hoping that the next day I don't feel really bad because I can't be bothered, I'm not in the mood. I only got it booked in yesterday, so I'm like not mentally prepared for feeling crap. So hopefully I'll be okay. Usually, like the ones before, I usually just get like a bad headache the next day, which isn't too bad. Just a bit annoying, but it could be worse. It's late afternoon at 5:30 this afternoon, so I'm just going to walk there later, get that over with. This blue's actually really bright, all these colours, but I will dull them down a little bit with some white later so that they're not quite so like bold. And then I'm going with, so I've just used this one, and then I'm going to use this one next. It's the next colour, it's a bit lighter again. So if there's loads of wobbling, it's because my desk wobbles when I draw. Out the bits which are lighter but not the white bits, because I'm gonna do that afterwards with for white, obviously. And then what I'll do is just bend all this base layer together, blend all the base layer together, and then I can see from there what needs adjusting, what needs lightening, what needs darkening. So I'm hoping to get all of this ice done this morning. That's my goal for the day, and then I'm going to get some orders done, some Etsy orders, got some key rings and things to paint done after lunch. That's my plan for the day. Don't know what time it is currently. It's 10:30 in the morning. I'm going to just try getting my other lamp and see if it makes the lighting any better. 1 second. I'm not sure if that makes it any better, but I'll have to go with it. I've just put a lamp on the other side as well. That's just trial and error, really. I always find it really hard doing like different textures like this. So this ice, I've never done ice before, so this will be interesting. So I don't really do backgrounds and things very often, but I just thought the ice just looked really cooler than this picture, so I kind of wanted to include it if I could. So we will see. Right, and then I'm going to go with the lightest one, and then I'll go in with a white after. Table is really wobbling. I'm just going to cover this whole bit here. Just don't really want any of the paper showing underneath. I feel like in real life it looks a lot brighter than it does on camera, but anyway. And then I'm going to grab a white. I've got this tiny little stump here. I'm trying to use these little stumps up. So I'm just going to fill in all the gaps and then I'm going to blend it together and go from there. I can crispen up the edges at the end. When you draw animals, you realise like what colours are in them. So like a polar bear you just think of as pretty white, but they're actually like beigey brown. They've got loads of browns, loads of different colours in them really. So they're literally not just white. It'd be interesting to see what colours I actually end up using in this piece. It's really hard to hold these little stumps. I have got some pencil extenders, but I'm too lazy to put it on because they're in my coloured pencil box and that's in another room. Makes me sound so lazy. I'm not really that lazy, I promise. Actually, that bit should be a bit darker, that bit here. And this is when this paper comes in handy, so I don't put my hand on the other pastel and smudge it or get like the oils from my hand onto the paper and ruin it. So I highly recommend getting some of this. It's really cheap as well. Get like, I got like 50 sheets, 50 A2 sheets, I think. They're massive, and I've had them for 3 years now and I've still got tons of it left. It was only about £15 for the lot, so definitely worth getting. And also it's good for storing your pastel pieces as well. Put a piece over the top to protect it. It stops it from smudging and getting ruined when in storage. Okay, there we go. That is my base layer. And then I'm gonna get, this is a blending stump. I'll link these below as well. You can get them anywhere really, like eBay, Amazon, any art shop. Well, not any art shop, but quite a lot of art shops do them. They're just really cheap and they're useful for blending. It's just a paper kind of stump thing. And they're just really good for blending. So yeah, I'm just gonna slowly blend out each section to create a nice smooth looking base layer. See what a difference that makes, blending it out. It just makes so much difference. And then it just creates a nice solid base to work from on top of. It doesn't matter if you go slightly onto the bit where the polar bear will be, because you can go over the top of it. nice to use some blues for a change, because I don't often get to use colours like this, because I normally draw just animals, so it's just fur, like browns, beiges, creams, whites, you know. So it's nice when I get to draw something with some bright colours in, makes a nice change. That's why I like drawing parrots and things like that, because I get to use colours which I don't normally get to use very often. Ooh, bring that over. Something rattling in the background, I don't know what it is. So satisfying. Tend to, when I go to the dark area, I turn the stump around, just so that when I go to the white, it doesn't then drag that colour into it, if that makes sense. So I use this for this bit, and then when I go up to the top, I turn it around, just so I don't contaminate the colours too much. Yeah, so where I've been using those darker colours, for when I then go up here, I turn it round so I don't drag all that darker blue up to the top. Blow some of the dust off. Right, so that is the base layer, blended base layer. Just thinking. Just going to try and add some of this strange texture that's down here. And there will come a point where I'm going to have to stop blending with the blending stump, because otherwise it just becomes too soft. And none of the edges will be sharp enough for it to look like ice. I'm going to sharpen this pencil a bit so I can get some more kind of finer details, I think. Here we go. This is how well the swordfish icon sharpener sharpens. You get a really sharp point, but then the tip is quite fragile, so you have to be careful. It probably will snap when I start doing this a little bit, because sometimes I press too hard, but yeah, get a really nice sharp point, which is really good. And just handy for detailed work. Sharpen this grey actually as well. very slowly starting to look a bit more like ice. It's just quite a long trial and error process really, and just keep adding and adding to it. Oh, dropped my desk quite a bit there. Oops. Let's get in there. So I want most of the detail to be in this front bit here, this front bit of rocks, ice, and then the polar bear. So these side bits I don't really want too much detail, and they can be quite blended because they're not quite, they're like more in the background rather than the foreground. So that doesn't have to be as bold, as in focus, I mean. And then when I've done the polar bear, I can always come back and add more detail to this, which I probably will do. Well, I'm pretty sure I will do that because this definitely isn't done yet. Definitely needs some more detail, especially in this front bit. but I'll come back to it. These back bits to be a bit more white, I think. See, that's a little bit better now from this angle. So this is the front ice bit at the moment. I think I'm going to leave it how it is now, and then I'm going to do the polar bear, and then I'll come back to this at the end and add bits to it as I feel I need to. So yeah, that's the end of part 1 of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, see, part 2 will probably come next Sunday. Bye for now.